Warning, this video is made by the community of Wizards Comics and Collectibles Inc. The cast's views and opinions do not reflect those of the company or its owners. This video may contain adult language. You have been warned. Hello all, it's Will and Mike again with this week's podcast. Today on this little short comic review, we are talking about Old Man Hawkeye.
Yeah!
Do you want to give us a little rundown of the book in the non-spoiler zone?
Old Man Hawkeye. Yeah, it's kind of like a prologue to the original Old Man Logan series. So it's how Hawkeye loses his sight in that series initially, and kind of like what he does to lead up to that miniseries done by Mark Millar and Steve McNiven, 10, 12 years ago, whatever it was. I guess like 8, 10 years ago? Sure. Whatever. Point is, Hawkeye is busy running jobs in the middle of nowhere. He's one of like the last remaining heroes. People don't really know about him. And he ends up drawing some attention to himself and, misses a shot and like realizes he's going blind and sets out for like one last big adventure to try and avenge all the heroes before he finally loses his sight and becomes kind of useless to everybody. So, what'd you think?
I liked it. I didn't know much about him, and a lot of people, from what I've heard from people too, with me, it was like just going to be another stupid book about a guy who shoots arrows. Actually, made him a good character.
Yeah, like it's not going to be a book about a stupid guy who shoots arrows, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I found the Archer characters like always a little hard with the super teams, you know what I mean? Because like...
It's like, I'm the Hulk, I'm Iron Man, I'm Thor, I'm Robin Hood.
Yeah, right? Like you're not even, it's not even like it's not that you don't have powers, it's that you're not having powers is like shooting a bow. It feels a little outdated, right? Like in the Ultimate Universe, after Ultimatum, they had Hawkeye shooting guns, like pistols.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, that felt like cool. He was like edgy too, because he got like, during Ultimatum, I think, oh man, it was super dark. I think they like killed his family, and then he got like captured and tortured and stuff. So he came out of there with like a death wish and was like actually popping guys. And you know what? It felt like a little more believable. That being said, I really like the Matt Fraction, David Aja run. I actually like Hawkeye, what they've been doing with him the last like 5 years.
I know I like Katie Hawkeye, but...
Kate Bishop? She's cool. But, I mean, Clint has been cool lately because he never really had anything, like, aside from being, like, an Avenger and having, like, kind of a campy costume for, like, what he is, right? Yeah. Same problem with Green Arrow, right? If you're just going to dress him up, like, in the Robin Hood costume? No, right? You want to give him, like, that sweet Mike Grell hood and, pointy beard look, right? Because then he actually looks badass. He doesn't look like a joke anymore. Like he looks like he can actually be kicking ass with the Justice League, right?
So that's gonna be the we're entering the spoiler zone now. So for those who don't want the book spoiled, like more in depth inside of it, feel free to skip ahead. This was Old Man Hawkeye #1. I believe it is tied to the Old Man Logan universe.
Yeah, but it's like I said, it's a prologue to the original series, whereas the current Old Man Logan run, it's just like him in the universe like right now.
Yeah.
At the present.
So now we can go in this part, if you guys are still listening, in being more just talking about the book and actually what was on the pages.
Yeah.
Now we can don't worry about spoiling it.
So, sorry, back to that other thing. I think like they finally like found like a niche for Clint as like this kind of like gritty. Like he's almost like the lovable loser of the Avengers. And I don't mean the fact that like he's like a dork and he sucks. I mean, like he gets his ass kicked. So if you think about it, like if you were out doing Avengers stuff, you'd be like, and you didn't have powers, you could probably hold your own, but you'd go home like way sore than Hulk.
Yeah, you're gonna get thrown by a couple of aliens.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Thanos punched.
Yeah, and that's gonna hurt like hell, right? You're not just gonna like walk away like that, like no big deal. Yeah, not like Old Man Logan or whatever. Yeah. So I think they actually captured that really well. And even like right off the bat, right, he's kind of like world weary and a little bit like just like.
I don't know who these guys were, like the clones.
Okay, so right away it opens up and we're driving through like a valley and Hawkeye Barton is running protection for a hammer. Like I assume the same, classic Hammer family from Iron Man, if you guys know.
Oh, those bastards.
Yeah, the bad guys, Justin Hammer, etc., right?
Quote unquote.
When they get ambushed by a gang of bandits who all kind of look like Lemmy, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So they're all offshoots of, do you know who the Multiple Man is?
No.
So Jamie Madrox was a guy introduced in Oh my lord, I think I'm failing here. It's somewhere in
somewhere back.
No, so he's an X-Men character.
Okay.
I believe he was introduced in the 80s when they created Freedom Force, which was kind of what the Brotherhood of Mutants turned into, except Magneto had kind of left them and started teaching the New Mutants kids, and Freedom Force ended up being like the government-sanctioned kind of greasy X group, mutant group, right?
Like their Weapon X meets, or I mean, like X-Force meets Suicide Squad.
Think about more like a government-sponsored Avengers team, but like mutants. So, you know what I mean? Like, put them in front of the camera, rah, 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 and then send them to go, stop the heroes from intervening when we don't want them to. Whatever, right? You know what I mean? Like, no, we want this coup to happen in this faraway country. Freedom Force, stop the X-Force, or X-Factor.
Oh, so they make them fight other teams to tell them no.
So they were like, it was like when Norman Osborn had like the Avengers. So it was kind of like the Dark Avengers. So the public thought they were being the good guys, but they were fighting behind, the public eye. They were fighting the heroes and stuff still.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that's where he showed up. I could be wrong. He might have showed up like way earlier than that in older X-Men stuff. I honestly can't remember. Where he really like got dragged into like more prominence was in X-Factor. So after the original X-Men team left X-Factor, he like was one of the second teams when they had that big shift in the 90s with like New Mutants turning into X-Force. And, yeah, super cool. It was a great panel. So we're busy looking at this sweet page of like all these Madroxes dressed up as like greasy, kind of vaguely 70s looking bikers.
They look like he looks like a character from one of the Borderlands.
Yes, they look like they look like they belong in Easy Rider.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that old movie, a great movie, man. But yeah, so he's an X-Man guy. So his power is like multiplying himself. Oh. So he like makes copies, but if you get the OG, then like they die. Yeah. But these guys are all like, yeah, we don't answer to the name of that guy. Like we're the Madrox gang. You know what I mean? So they're like pretty clearly like really far off shot. In the 90s and 2000s, he was like running X-Factor as like an investigation unit, and they expanded on his powers more. So like guys could shoot off. So it was almost like a clone thing where like some of his offshoots wouldn't know they were offshoots until he like came and reclaimed them, right? Oh. But when he reclaimed them, he would get like their knowledge. So he could send them in to spy on people, and then go and meet up with them and like get the intel. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they would act just as he would, right? With their intelligence. So, anyways, enough about Jamie Madrox. She's sweet, but the Multiple Man ends up actually just making awesome cannon fodder all the time. That's kind of what his role is. Like, he's got a really cool power, but most of the time it's just to like make a big mass of guys to get their asses kicked by the bad guys. And just like in Old Man Logan, like Old Man Hawkeye just kills the shit. This whole
page of him like getting headshots with his arrows.
Isn't this great? Like 3 or 2 like full pages.
Yeah, it's just. We're here to rob you, okay? Let me what's in the case? This.
Bang, 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 twang, 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 twang. And then he misses the last guy. Yeah. Yeah. He like can't finish him off, or the second to last guy. Yeah. Oh, like super bloody, great panel work too. Marco Cicchetto, the artist. He's that guy who did the Star Wars books. Yeah. Like Obi-Wan and Anakin, those ones I really like. I love this guy's work, man. Also, I put this in my review in the store if anybody read it. The greatest beard artist. Yes. If you've read his stuff lately, Old Man Hawkeye, sick beard. Old Man Logan, sweet beard. All these Madroxes, awesome handlebar mustaches. Yep. Punisher had a beard in that run. Yeah, he does. Obi-Wan has a sweet beard. Yeah. Like, not to push it, but beards. He draws guys with sweet beards, man. Yep. You know what? He should do. He would be awesome at doing the current like Thor, like Odin's son. Oh, yes. Yeah, like with the beard, that would be cool. So he kills all the guys, and one of them gets away, and that's kind of how Hawkeye realizes something's wrong, because he's like, oh, like, shit, I missed somebody. Like, I never missed. Because he doesnings get a headshot, he wings him in the side.
Then he goes sees, like, the girlfriend of Luke Cage.
Yeah, like an old, it looks like an old girlfriend. I'm not sure who she is.
That's the doctor from the show.
Right, Claire from the show. Yeah. See, that's the problem when like half of what I know about Luke is like based off the show and half is based off like
the book.
Well, I was gonna say New Avengers, which is like him and Jessica Jones. So yeah, I mean it's different. But yeah, it looks like he's like going. But she tells him he's going blind from glaucoma. So that's when Clint kind of gets the right idea to visit Logan to try and get him to help take out all these guys. And Old Man Logan, if you've read the original, spoiler, like not spoiler alert, at the very start, he's a pacifist. He doesn't fight anybody. He hasn't fought in 50 years.
This one threw me out.
What the so yeah, he leaves Logan without any help, and he goes to visit his ex-wife and his daughter. And so you mean his ex-wife like having like an Ultron in the house?
No, like she's with the Ultron dude. But
Yeah.
I mean, like, so I'm like, okay, that's Ultron. That threw me off, and then I learned he's like number 7 or whatever. But then she's like the daughter of like Spider-Man and something like that. It's
yeah. So she is she's a daughter of Spider-Man. Is the best. That's exactly right. This is the best way to put it. So she ends up like, this is the fictional universe. So in the original, his daughter is like wearing the Spider-Girl costume, kind of almost ironically because she ends up being like a bit of a thug. In
I liked her.
Spoiler, big spoiler for the original because that's a big
I
twist.
like her design, the hair design.
Yeah, I agree. She's well drawn in this. She looks very punk rock. You should read the original. You'd like it. And she's cool in it. She has a really, really cool like little story arc in it.
This part where she's like throwing darts at the Hawkeye in his original costume.
Yeah, goes to talk to his daughter and she's throwing darts at him. Got a picture of him on the wall and he's just like kind of half crushed and is a shitty dad and isn't around and she hates him.
Yeah.
Which I mean, yeah, like fair call.
That death scene.
See, but that's what I like is that just like the original, they have like just a hint of like the terrible past, like the tragedy that made all this happen.
Or I guess is now current.
But it's just like a flash, and then you don't get to see it, right?
Yeah.
Because that was what the first one did so good. For throughout the whole scene, you're like, man, what happened with the X-Men? And you get like little flashes of like the night it happened, but you didn't know until the very end, and you're like, oh my god, I can't believe it, right? So one of the Magic's guy who gets away, he ends up running into a stream where a Venom symbiote gets it. That looks cool. This is the part that I liked. Yeah, at the end. So the sheriffs are investigating all these dead bodies, all the Magic's guys killed. And there's a bunch of open graves beside them, and they're busy arguing, like, who would kill all these bandits and then dig a grave for each of them in the hot sun. And a dude with a glowing red eye and a bowler cap shows up, and they call him Marshall, and it turns out to be, like, a way older Bullseye with the bullseye carved into his forehead, like classic, and he's got like a cool mustache and a weird cyborg eye. Like, what the hell, right? Super Western though. I love this.
I thought it was like for a sec. I'm like, is that like the Duncan guy or whatever from the Fury? And then
not Deathstroke.
The sergeant dude with the bowler cap.
Oh, you mean Dum Dum Dugan?
Yeah,
that would have been cool.
Like, is that Duggan? And then like I saw the guy, I'm like, wait,
Dugan,
is that
Duggan?
like Dugan mixed in with Cable? I'm like, no, Cable has a yellow eye. And then I saw this, I'm like, it's Deadshot or it's Bullseye.
I thought it was gonna be Deathlock.
Oh, that would have been
Cyborg
a good
dude,
one.
right? Like red eye on the that's the right side, the like left side of the face and everything. I think it's way cooler that it's Bullseye because that's like their classic rivals. Like, who does Bullseye fight? Like Daredevil. Who else does he fight? Hawkeye, right?
Like, there's one other guy that's better than him, and that's Hawkeye.
Yeah, exactly.
Except for he's cooler because he Bullseye can throw darts and anything and hit.
I like Bullseye. He's a super cool character because you can be so inventive with what he throws and like how he does it. And he's like martial arts genius, and more than that, he's like crazy but just lucid enough to be a threat. You know what I mean?
People hated the movie, like the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie, but I loved the Bullseye in it.
It wasn't bad. It was an okay portrayal. I think he was a little too crazy, but it was cool. Colin Farrell did an okay job.
Yeah.
So, yeah, did you like it? I mean,
I liked it. I didn't know much about the universe, so I kind of learned some things on the side.
The more you know,
but,
right?
Yeah, but I'd like to see this as like maybe like it would have been cool as like a show, or like even if they did like an animated movie.
Yeah, dude. They should do an animated Old Man Logan. That would be sweet. Yeah. And then you could do a Hawkeye prologue afterwards, or like even beforehand.
Just the cover seems like a really sick like movie, or like the graphics of like Hot Wheel Highway 66. Like,
it feels like a Mad Max cover.
Yeah,
it's got that like kind of like Mad Max feel where it's like sort of post-apocalyptic, like sort of new society after the apocalypse, but it's all like everything's vaguely dusty.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And in that same way, it's kind of got like almost a Western feel to it too because of that, right? Everything seems to be like slightly grimy and gritty and dirty
and old.
Yeah,
everyone has sweet mustaches.
Old and beaten down, but like reused a billion times. In the same way that Star Wars, like nothing, like a ton of the vehicles seem like, and stuff that people use seem like super old. Somebody once said to me that they thought Star Wars, like, people lost, like, the ability to make the technology, like, ages ago. I'm like, no, man, it's just, like, the disparity in the galaxy, right? Like, some people...
It's just like...
You have, like, a land speeder that you pass down from generation to generation to generation because you can't afford another one, right?
But it's like the people... It's like the bolt action versus the musket. People had muskets, and then bolt actions came out, and then... Well, you got better at making the bolt action, but just because it's so easy to maintain and like you're using it a lot, it just gets older and grimier.
Well, and exactly, and more than that, like it's like okay, this is gonna sound bad because we're in Sherwood Park, but it's in like sometimes in poorer areas of the world or whatever, you have a piece of higher technology or machinery like a car or something, right? Or even like say. Like a family car for a less well-off family, something that you'd pass down and that you'd run, or even a car that you yourself would maintain and run for 30 years because sure, it's got some rust holes in it and, you've replaced a bunch of pieces on it and, it's not the prettiest car out there at all anymore, but it runs and it's yours and you can't really afford another one.
Yeah. Basically like Empire versus the Rebels. Just, the Rebel Blaster got better in technology. It just... because they have to like makeshift parts or steal replacements or make their own fusion cells. It looks old and grunny.
Yeah.
Whereas like the Empire, if you look at their blasters,
ad hoc almost.
They used to be these huge long barrels, and then when they became stormtroopers, they were able to cut down the size into like these little SMGs.
Yeah.
It's the same gun, it's cut down.
Yeah. Exactly. Like their technology, they always have like the cutting edge. Whereas like I like Old Man Logan because it's got that like grimy, like patchwork ad hoc feel. Yeah. And I thought Hawkeye, like this book, I'm so excited for what's coming next because it hit that feel of like horrible secret past, like set up like a really cool, like like Hawkeye's last ride. You know what I mean? One last adventure for this Old Man Hawkeye.
Fix his past before everything's gone.
Well, and we know it's got to be like dark and messed up because the world is dark and messed up too, right? So I'm kind of excited to see where they take that.
I wonder what they're gonna do with Venom because they kind of just threw that on the side.
Well, did you read? You haven't read Old Man Logan, right?
No.
Okay, I won't tell you what they did with Venom in there either. But it's really cool. Anybody listening, you know the Venom part. It's like, I guess like 2/3 of the way through.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so sweet, right when they're in the desert.
So with ending this, would you recommend, would this be a buy, read, or look at?
I would say this might be a buy. Because Old Man Logan is so popular. This book is so pretty with great art. The story is really good. It looks like a good setup. But more importantly, like, you might get good value down the road because this is the actual successor to Old Man Logan, the original. The ongoing series, it's excellent, but it has nothing to do with the universe, the alternate universe. And that alternate universe, that's what I love.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about anybody else who read it, but that was the part that like made me really like that series. So I would say get it because that way you get the whole set, and you never know, it might actually even be something down the road.
I would say buy the first issue. Yeah, this would be one of the few I'd say buy. Would be a single buy for me.
Yeah.
Or graphic novel in the future, but...
Yeah, it's a 12-part miniseries. Makes a good graphic novel or even just a limited collection, right?
Single buy, I would say.
Yeah.
Go single this time.
Definitely check it out. Read it as fast as possible. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, just like with Batman Who Laughs, that sold out quickly. We have to get the annual still.
Yeah, we got to find some second annuals and read that as well.
Yeah, if you guys... think this is a cool idea, or if you have any other books for us to suggest, just leave a message down below on the YouTube page or the Facebook page. We'll see you guys in the next segment.
Bye!
Yeah. Hello guys, welcome to our third part of this podcast here. We have Glen, who just got back from Taste of Animethon, and Lucas.
The man with no name.
The man with no name. The
Hello.
legend. So we're here to talk to Glen, who about his fresh encounters at whatchamacallit?
Taste of Animethon.
Taste of Animethon. And as Lucas and Glenn plays a game of Commander. So what is your guys' decks that you're playing right now?
I am playing an elemental deck on the Locust of Rage from Battle of Zendikar. of course, all based on elementals.
New kind.
Dino deck. The
Dino.
only way to play it. No explanation needed. The Dino deck.
So, take us through your day of Friday.
And Saturday?
Yeah.
Well, of course, my cousin, Rocky, and I all met up after my shift to Taste of Animethon to the Marriott Hotel. Thank you for their services, by the way, for their hospitality and all that.
Was it a nice place?
It was a nice place. Marriott is always the best for conventions, I can tell you that. So after we met up, had ourselves like a little bit of supper, and of course started the convention.
Slam.
Started around 5. Started off with vendors. Did some shopping that night.
Who's going first?
Let's roll off 4, 5, 6, 7.
First ever tell. Lucas
12.
got a 12 by 2 6s.
5. There's no way I can't beat
Glen
that.
rolled a 4 and a 1.
Alright.
So, did some shopping.
First turn belongs to me.
Went to a couple of panels. Watched a very interesting show called Restaurant from Another World.
We have a Rugged Highlands coming in tap for Lucas.
Whoa!
So how was the show?
It was good. It was good.
Would you recommend it?
I would, if you're like into food, yes, and fantasy, because
Glen
how-
plays a forest.
how this works, how the show works out is, this door comes to random times. So think of a British doctor with a phone pole. I'm trying not to be copyright here, but
You can say names. It's more like playing with things or showing images.
yeah. Okay, so
That's a Selesnya Guildgate coming in tapped for Lucas.
so
Yeah.
think of Doctor Who, but instead of saving the world, he saves people's lives of his restaurant, which his
So-
door comes random into random time.
So it's like the TARDIS, except for it's a restaurant.
yes,
That's cool. That's another force for Glen.
pass the turn. I enjoyed it. Third episode couldn't get into because it was leggy, but I enjoyed it.
Rootbound Craig coming in tap for Lucas.
When we go to conventions, Rocky always likes going to AMVs, and I
Forced for Glen.
encourage him on that because it shows how creative minds work with, of course, anime and music videos in the same combination.
Yeah.
AMVs, yeah.
And what are AMVs?
Anime music videos.
Okay.
There are different types. Horror,
Thanks for Lucas. Full art.
trailer, comedy, parody, fun, drama. It goes on.
Alright, I shall tap 3 and bring out Growing Rights.
He's tapping Ragged Highlands, Rootbound, and Selesnya for growth rights.
Of whatever how you pronounce that name.
So yeah, I did plenty of that yesterday. Today,
Draws
my
another card.
shoulder piece.
Now, when I enter the battlefield, I look at the top 4 cards of my library, and I can select a creature card among them and add it to my hand, revealing it, of course. And the rest goes at the bottom in any order. I shall show you Raptor Companion.
He chooses Raptor Companion. So what did you do on Saturday? Or today?
My right shoulder piece for my Roadhog cosplay broke. Courtesy to my mom, though, she
Fixed
had
it.
she came over all the way to Edmonton just to help out, and I'm happy for that. Hold that thought. Let me do my play here. Actually, wait, I can't. Wait, yes, I can.
Hey, good.
Yeah, I'm going to play that. So
You
I
did something?
I brought this
A
card.
lot of vial
Okay.
of poison.
So, aside from that, had 14 hours wearing that cosplay because all of our stuff was in the hotel room because of checkout time. So, my back's killing me. I feel over sweat.
Guess who's coming out to play?
Lucas plays a Raptor Companion in attack mode.
Pass the turn.
Pass does to Glen.
Watch more A&Bs today. Went to a very funny panel called Critical Failure. Always love going to that panel every year.
Isn't that the one that's run by Geek and Sundry?
Believe so. They
Yeah,
look like
oh yeah, it is because they do D&D podcasts.
that they do. And
Oh, I'd like to go see those guys live.
oh, their Critical Failure should go. My God.
I watch their podcasts.
So yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You guys know who I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
I
Here.
have some familiarity. I haven't actually watched it, but I have an idea.
They're on YouTube for you guys if you want to check them out.
And we also watched K-pop today. My first time doing that.
Korean pop. Think Michael Jackson, except for he was a Korean dude, and like 4 of them.
And did you do anything this turn?
He has yet to play a card. He played Vial of Poison, and then he played your Raptor, and then it's back to his turn.
Which I drew a card.
Okay.
But I'm trying to think. Discarded a card. Oh, also got some drawings and posters.
So you
I discarded a card.
It's your
because
turn.
of Hand size. So yeah, your turn.
Glen discards down to 7. Couldn't play anything.
play a forest.
So you excited for Animethon?
The summer's one in 7 months. I am.
So how does it work? There's Taste, and then there's regular Animethon.
Taste of Animethon is 2 days, and the summer's one is only 3. So of course a day difference. Summer one is mainly held at Grant McEwen every summer, but this year is different. Going to be held back at Shaw Conference again. 25th anniversary for this year, which I cannot wait for. But aside from that, another convention I'm going to this coming in 4 months from now is going to be Otafest, which we had a podcast earlier last year. So,
We did.
You'll go.
so yeah, Otafest is coming in 4 months. Planning to head there, obviously with Roadhog.
The quest for the hook signing.
Oh yeah, for those who don't know, I told everyone I am planning to have all Overwatch voice actor brackets for signing my props hook for my Roadhog cosplay. Already got Sombra, and this coming year is McCree. I got much more to excuse me. I got much more to work at though.
Just
So
make sure your hook doesn't mysteriously disappear.
yeah.
Yeah. Check
Funny
your
how that
brain.
happened.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I go.
Yeah.
So Lucas, how was Games Day today for Warhammer? There's quite a bit of Age of Sigmar this time around in 40k.
I thought it was a very tame games day. A very interesting game with our Eldar player.
Yeah, it was 1,000 points of Eldar versus Tyranids. There's a lot of warriors, more warriors I've seen in a
So,
game.
I play Temple Altisar,
Uh,
and that's my turn.
Glenn is dropping down. He is now at 16.
the song was "Let's Do the Time Warp Again." Like everyone looks so confused. Like I know that deep voice. Oh, those 3 alone.
How much of a deck do I want to be today?
Sadly enough, I don't have Soul Rain in here, but I really don't need it because I have
I'm getting a
Thrent Dynamo.
I'm getting an Italian Soul Ring.
Hey,
Alright, I'm bringing out my Civil-Clad Feroxodons. It's an 8/5 with the Enrage effect that whenever it's dealt damage, each opponent is sacrificed a permanent.
Oh dear.
So don't get hit.
So, also, fun fact, Will's been trying to sneak there. That was the sneeze we've been waiting for about 3 hours.
What happened? Tell me the story, please.
I just took forever for me to sneeze.
Okay.
Oh, remember Mummy 2, just Arabic. Roar.
Yes.
Gong crash.
Because we were watching Mommy's Return earlier, and like they had the subtext on, whenever they spoke for like
The Egyptian
Arabic.
language.
it said speak Arabic, but
Yeah.
whenever the characters from ancient Egypt would speak, they would say speak in Arabic,
Yeah.
which I found odd because I
Yeah, we-
thought in the movie, the Jonathan would say that you have to know ancient Egyptian. So wouldn't that be a contradiction of?
Yeah. Oh, we just went into a whole like historical correctness little ramble and discovery of the mummy.
All
And we learned some cool things.
Okay.
Self-discovery.
Also, for the ones who listen to our podcast, figure out
So,
what do you think I
I,
should be for Odafest / Summer Sandmaid.
So I am playing another raptor type dude.
That will be the next question.
It's a 5/5 trample. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to each other creature.
Oh. How much damage? Of its equal power?
No, it's just 1 damage.
Oh.
It's like a 1 damage arcane explosion for those who play Hearthstone.
Concentration.
Which also will trigger my 2 raptors again.
Yes.
So I get to search for a basic land again.
And he has to sacrifice one.
Yes.
Concentration. Okay, that apparently makes the PlayStation go to the chat screen saying concentration.
Stop saying that.
It makes a little blue thingy jump up and down.
It's always been like that.
Alright. Pulled out a mountain from my deck. Goodness.
Lucas's board state.
Oh, Glen, I feel sorry for you.
Oh, there's the minigun from the funeral scene.
So do they train him?
Nope.
Then why are they all...
And because I played a dino, it will also trigger my mana to draw again.
A few moments later.
I'm going to end the game by playing the Burning Sun's Avatar. When he's a 6/6, when he enters the battlefield, it deals 3 damage up to target opponent and 3 damage to 1 target creature.
And there's the Curse of Land. And with that, Lucas takes down Glen,
And I shall sway my commander.
doing lethal to his face. So with that, you guys probably heard something to speed this up. We will end it here for the podcast. We'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully, you might either have seen the previous 2 before this, or right after this, we'll have a special little video. If not, we'll see you guys in the next podcast.
Stay frosty.
Okay, so now as we come back to this, we start with the top of the box. We got here, which I believe is the scenario book. So, little introduction. So the story behind this game is you're a group of adventurers just seeking riches or personal goals that you gain at the beginning of the game. And this book is kind of like your DM's guide, your adventure path. So you use this for all references. So you're seeing what missions you need to play. Like, look how full that is. That's pretty full. There's no foam padding or anything in the bottom. This is straight to the bottom. This right here is your map. So this is the board that you mark after you complete missions and unlock things. Let's take a nice unfold here. So this is the board. It's even got like sides all cut off here. Almost they're talking about making an expansion. So you got your town level. You have your achievements, your global achievements, your town of Gloomhaven, all your areas and maps to travel. For that, I'm going to be getting a picture offline and using a photocopy to mark. Here we got your pictures. These are our achievement banner stickers. Those are never going to be touched. They're going to be set to the bottom. You have your locations, places that you've gone to, that you mark on the map. Some more locations. There's a lot of them. Then we get to the chunk, the meaty bits, which is the tiles, and these are all your board pieces, your tokens, your enemies. Like, that's thick. THIC, thick. Hi, Gigi. Cat's wondering what we're doing. Here, now we see in the main bottom part all your classes. It's quite a bit. You only get 6 unlocked to begin with. I believe you get him, 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 and him. So these first right here, I'm not going to really open them. Don't want to spoil them. If you want to see this game played, check out the YouTube page called Playing Board Games. They're running through a campaign through this. So if you want to see how it's played or what it looks like, take a look through them. Hopefully we can get a game in or two for this. See, he also applies these, what Isaac does in his mastermind. He uses, the game grows as you grow. So the more you play games, you'll get things that say, like, after you achieve your personal goal, open X. And this is like a sealed card. What I think I might do is open this when I do, and then when I want to reseal it, because I want to be able to restart the game, I might just either take off the stickiness, like take off the thing and just make it so it put some cardboard behind it so it can slot in. So we have those. We have more of them. And we have, this is our decoding key. So some missions will have you doing like puzzles and codes. I believe this was what the Kickstarter ticket was on, and then you got a nice little art piece. Might turn that into my wallpaper. This now, this book here, until you're about to play the game, do not open this. This is just like those letters. Once a character does a thing called retiring. So when you play the game, you're stuck with the character you choose if you play the campaign. And the only way you can switch them is if your character retires, which we can talk about later if we actually play. These here are how you upgrade your character, so leveling. So think like when you level up, you get like a talent tree mark or a talent or a feat mark or something, and it buffs your skills. This basically does that for your spells. So every time your character levels, you can do things to upgrade your ability cards. So instead of using dice and spell books, this game uses a card system, and he does pretty well. In our next video, we might go over some of the rules, and we can talk about that. Or another letter. This is your character sheet, the party pad. This is if you're doing campaign. If you're doing casual, you don't really have to care about this. Now we go into the foam. Foam. So these are the markers I'm talking about. The people who bought the Kickstarter version will not get these. They got little wooden tokens that slot into character cards. You can buy these separate off their Kickstarter page. It's like $10, $10 to get these plus some other upgrades in this box. So here you have your health counter, and on this side you have your experience counter. The cards in your deck is your mana, so you don't have to worry about that. What else is under here? Oh, those are things you open for the class. So when you choose a class or a special ability, you open these little boxes here. I'm pretty sure these are minis. I don't know myself, I haven't opened them. I'm going to wait until I get a group to open, and then we get to the final parts here, the cards. So like I said, everything is done by cards here. And you get a cool, nice little tray here. That's very nice of him. Your bosses, your monsters. Don't have to flip through a monster codex. These things are cool. So as you play the game, you'll fight against monsters, and as your party levels up, you level up the monsters too. So going off this, you tilt them to each level, and then this covers up the slots, so you can only see this ability. What else do we have over here? You have the bases to mark elites and all that. Condition modifiers like environmental effects. Little special cards. Those are tiny. More tiny cards. I'm going to need a lot of sleeves. Oh boy, look at that. Now these here are what I really worry about. Oh, they're standard size, so that's good. So that's your event deck for when you travel. Another event deck. Well, these are your personal gold cards. So spoilers. So every time you make a character, you get one of these guys, and you have this is a little bit of fluff. Tells you why you're why you're at Gloomhaven. You keep that secret to everyone, and that's your win condition. basically your win condition for your character. That's when you can swap up for a new one. And then what else do we have here? What's this in the back? Oh, little cards that tell you about like what symbols mean. Player references. That's pretty good. Yeah, so that's, look at all that. That's all that's in there. Ah yes, the mighty rulebook. So this teaches you everything you need to play and how to run both the campaign and casual mode. So the first half here will teach you everything about the mechanics, how to use equipment, how the cards work instead of dice, how to spawn appropriate monsters. They even do some cool things, like they have this little chart for how to choose the right difficulty. There's even solo play. So if you want to play by yourself, or if your party wants to be able to communicate what cards are in their hand, we can go over the reason why they do that a little bit later, but this kind of explains it all over here. It actually makes sense once you read it. So in our next Gloomhaven video cast, or rules talking when we play with Bryce or something, we'll go over that, because we're interested in running games together. Then you also have your second part of the game here, which is the actual campaign mode itself, which starts on page 35. It tells you how you interact with the stickers, cards, and all that stuff. So I would recommend you read this section before you start marking cards. Get some, if you don't quite understand, get someone else to help you read. Because once you mark these and you don't want to use, like I'm using inner sleeves. So if you use some inner sleeves, you put them on the main cards that you're going to mark. Then when you want to restart the game, you just pull the card out. I believe he also sells stickers, so if you want to restart with the stickers, because you may have put it on the wrong, you may have put it on one spot, but if you slide it onto another card, it's going to cover some words. You can also do what I'm doing, is I'm just going to put the sticker on the far side of the card and then just draw a line to it with wet erase on the sleeve, of course. It's got like your attack, woundings, all that stuff. We have stickers and like how to place them, like I said. So like you can level up and there'll be like a little dot here, and then you put that red sticker on, but it may not like line up with, like, say here. You might not. You might have it on right here, or in this case, you'd have it on the 2. And of course, it's like how you upgrade your character, like how you buy upgrades to put onto the card. So you have like your gold cost. Just like an RPG, you always have money, you have currency for doing missions and finding chests and stuff. This is how you retire, this is how your character ends if they don't just do permanent death mode. And then of course how to play optional rules like permadeath, your rando mode if you just want to play randoms and not play the campaign. And of course, the credits. To all these guys out there making a kick-ass game. Then there's the Kickstarter. Yeah, and then of course your little quick reference index. This has been our unboxing for Gloomhaven. One of the games that I've been really excited for this year. Finally realizing it was in store. It can be yours today at most places. I've seen anywhere between 160 to about 200 online. Pick it up at your local game store. You can order it special in. If you know anyone who is a huge Diablo, World of Warcraft, Living World, expanding D&D fanatic, who loves to be able to play with their friends on a basic board game but change a world that's alive, pick this up for them. It's quite a bit of weight, but it's up there at up there for my top board game. So I would say this is a buy. Pros, it's worth a lot more than what it costs. Like, this is like a $300 or maybe even a $200 worth of value, and you can get this for cheap. The guy was a genius who made the mechanics. The card mechanics is unique. It's a nice fresh take on role-playing games. Same with the world, building up the world. Your board for your board game is the map. So that's a nice one that you can hang up on and then just use photocopied paper. The art is nice. The characters are cool. The minis are really nice to paint up. The players get minis. The enemies are tokens that have a nice slotted base. They're laminated. The tiles art is fantastic. Pros or cons, I guess. Not really much in my opinion. The only ones I've heard / seen is reading. If you're not a person that really understands games by reading, you might mess up some interpretations of the rules here, especially with dealing with summoning monsters or some cards. But they're easy. Just take a couple read-throughs. You'll get that. What else? I've heard that once everything is undone, if you don't do it right, like when you pop out all the tiles, it doesn't quite fit well into the box. So some people have made it alternatives. You could probably find that online. It's heavy and very hard to store. Like I wanted to put this on my top display case, top of my board game display in my bookshelf. Will not hold it or fit. It's pretty wide. Besides that, the only neutral thing with it is it's a living board game. So you're going to be marking this thing. You're going to be marking cards, character sheets, models, boards. You're going to be using stickers. So if you want to play this game with like your friends, and you want to take it more seriously, not mark it and have people screw it up for other people, or it's definitely a game that you either play with the family and don't care about how you mark it. Another one is you save this for your friends who play board games a lot, or they understand D&D and how it's affecting the story, and you won't have to worry about cards being like upgraded wrong and stuff like that. Personal preferences. I'm using sleeves, so it does mark. With that, I think we're gonna say goodbye. This review has been going on long enough. It is a hefty game. It takes a lot to go through. Now I have to go bring this back into my room and find a spot to put it again.